Alright everybody, welcome to SimRace TV. I'm Jay Weezy, and we're live here at Darlington for the USRL 2018 Voice Attack Grand National Series here, and these guys are gridding up. So hang tight just a second and we'll go through our starting grid. Just trying to get some things worked out here. In the meantime, up in the booth, you know who it is, Jay Weezy, Gerald West, and of course you got me and Dustin German. Dustin.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing tonight? How you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing just fine, but you know, I'm kind of on a tight schedule, but it's all good.
Yeah, you a busy man these days.
Yeah, you gonna take us through the starting grid?
Yeah, I can. All right, we got here on the pole, we got the 28 of Calvin Allison. Starting on his outside is Todd Sargent. Starting third, we got Chris Stump, and starting on his outside, Stephen Page. All right, row number 3, we got Garrett Robinson and JJ Garrett. Row number 5, row number 4, we got Chris Garrett and Tommy Haynes. Behind them, Corey Blevins and Jamie Christensen. Rounding out the top 10 is Dustin Phillips and Keith Dunn.
Absolutely, man. Stack field here. Let's take a look at the rest of these guys on the starting grid here. Tell us about the points, Dustin, because Chris Stump, he's still leading the points, but we got some tight points battles going on.
Yeah, man, Chris is still holding his lead of 41 points from last week, but we've kind of jumbled up the points a little bit. Looks like Calvin's moved up to second. Tommy's moved up to third, and John's fell back to fifth, with Chris coming up from fifth up to fourth. And man, I'll get into that later about the other 5 guys in the top 10, but man, it's getting tight and getting down here to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, tight points battle going on, especially from what, 6th to 10th, man. Those guys, it's extremely close together. And sorry I couldn't bring up the point standings for you here. We'll get it next week. Hey, it's a good idea. I didn't think nothing about it, but here we got Calvin Allison. He won last week, looking to make it 2 in a row. Starting on the pole here, pace car gets set and pulls off on the pit row. It's going to be on Calvin Allison. The hammer down when that green flag waves. Todd Sargent in that 30 starts on the outside here. The green flag's out. Looking good as they come through the first turns here. So we got Garrett Robinson out there in the 95. A lot of single file early on here.
Yeah, these guys know what they got to do here. It's a very tight track. We thought Richmond was very tight, but this one's like half the width, it seems like, when you're out there side by side. Especially turn number 1, you really got to let a guy go or hurry up and get by him there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's you know, we did a race here Wednesday, man. I tell you what, it's like a single groove racetrack. You definitely don't want to go side by side through these turns. 1 and 2 a little easier than 3 and 4, but they're both pretty tricky. And you know, the biggest trick I think out there on the track is coming off of turn number 2. Man, that wall can jump out and grab you, it seems like.
Yeah, it's kind of like you jump over a little hump and then the wall jumps out and grabs you.
Yeah, you got to really hit your marks when you ride through turns 1 and 2. It's a little tricky when you go down into it, but man, this is a tough racetrack. That's why they call it too tough to tame, man. Darlington stripes, they're going to be all over these voice attack machines.
Yeah, if you can complete this race without a scratch, I don't think he was in this race.
Absolutely, man. And, you know, I haven't been here and not gotten a Darlington stripe. I don't even know a driver that hasn't had a Darlington stripe during a race here. So, you know, it's a very, very tricky track. But right now, Calvin Allison making it look easy as he's out front by a little bit over 0.2 of a second there. Todd Sargent in second, Chris Stump in third. Your points leader, Garrett Robinson and Stephen Page rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, speaking of Chris Page, he's the other guy that was in 6th place in points. He's 79 out of the lead. But from him on back to Jamie in 10th, Jamie Christensen, he's 91 points out. So we only got like a 12-point spread between 6th and 10th place.
Yeah, it's an awful tight battle here because we're on race number 12, and I believe we got 2 more races after this one. So not a whole lot of time to get it done. We'll find out if they can do it. But I was looking at some of the paint jobs out there, and it looks like 5th, 6th, and 7th are all teammates. They all got the same color paint scheme.
Yeah, it kind of makes our job a little bit harder here calling the race, but they look good out there. They must be sticking to some kind of plan they got going because they're all right there together.
Yeah, and you know, I was wondering about pit strategies here. I'm thinking, you know, maybe 40 laps or so on fuel. But you know, like we were talking about teams, these teams, they probably got some kind of strategy going on.
Yeah, I think the fuel window is going to open up around 34 to 38 laps from what I've been hearing here. So,
yeah, no doubt. You know, but will the tires last that long? That's the question.
Yeah, same as last week, and we're not racing night this week, so we're out here in the daylight. Looks like we might be late afternoon settings, and yeah, I think this place chews up tires. So.
Oh, definitely chews up tires, man. I find it one of the toughest tracks on tires. By the way, you know, it's a very high speed track, but these corners, if you're not hitting your marks perfectly, or you overdrive it, it just seems like it goes through a set of tires, and you know, 10 laps, I'm ready to pit again, but you can't because you know. There's no way you could pit every 10 laps and have a chance at winning this race. But, hey, thanks, Chris. Yeah, I mean, just a tough track, tough way to get around this place. And while we're at it, I was wanting to take a look at some of the track information. If you don't mind, let's take a look. It's 86 degrees out there. The track temp is at a hot 94, which is not as hot as it could be, but it's still nice and warm. We got a 191-mile race as we see a car already getting into the wall there. Like the 73 of Jason Garrett. Got a little bit of right front damage on that thing, the Darlington stripe. And, you know, like I was saying earlier, it's like the turn number 2. It'll jump out and get you.
Yeah, you just got so much wheel in the car coming out of 2, and then all of a sudden there's the wall, and you can't turn it any more than you already have.
Yeah, I was watching these teammates battle here. The 76 of Chris Garrett and the number 1 of Stephen Page. They kind of switched hands there. The 76 got around Stephen Page, and, you know, there's no sense in fighting too hard here. Early on, you know, there's a long way to go.
Yeah, it looks like Calvin just picking up right where he left off from last week, man. He has been on a tear here trying to catch up and get this points lead. He's 41 points behind, but the way he's driving, it ain't going to take long.
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps winning these races, he'll be up there contending for that number 1 spot here before the time's up, you know, because like I said, there's only a few races left, and I'm sure he's got plenty of time. I'm not sure how they do their points, but he's definitely got a shot at this one.
Yeah, Chris, man, he's the leader right now in points, and he isn't letting him get too far ahead of him.
Right now, looks like Calvin Allison is 6/10, almost 7/10 ahead there of Chris Stump. Chris Stump started 3rd, currently in 2nd right now. We're under first caution of the night. Looks like Corey Blevins in the 24 machine. Let's find out what happened to Corey. taking a look on the replay here at that number 24. As he comes off of turn number 2. Wham! The wall just jumps out, grabs him, and all of a sudden it's over. He slides that thing up into traffic there, and looks like another car. Nick Zaltner, the 93, just couldn't quite miss that, so he got a little bit of damage off of it. But I mean, you know, a lot of people, they're like, why did you come back up on the track? Well, when you're 170 miles an hour coming off turn 2 and you lose it, you can't just stop on a dime.
Yeah, man, them things are like missiles when they come off that wall, and you can't control where they're going or where you're going to end up.
All right, pit stops. First pit stops of the night here. Looks like the 26 of Dale Albright. He's going to stay out. He's going to take I guess he's not a lap down. It's showing him as the race leader, so he's staying out for points, I guess.
Yeah, you might be trying to get him an extra point there by staying out.
Yeah, these guys it's like Bruce Potter's going to stay out with him in the 59. Not sure what that's about. Usually there's only one guy that'll stay out for those points, but maybe he's thinking Bruce will come in this time by, and then maybe he'll get to lead a lap. Then he'll come in, you know, but it just depends. These guys, they got their own strategies. Just got to wait and see what happens. The 28 machine, he already led a few laps here. I'm not sure how many he's led so far, but I believe it's like 13 laps, 12 or 13 laps so far as he makes his way back onto the track. Dale Albright, Bruce Potter, those guys make their way back on the pit road. So they're going to lay it back over to Calvin Allison.
Yeah, I believe these guys this week, every time they hit pit road, I think they're going to take 4 tires. It ain't going to be like it was last week.
Yeah, Chris Stump's definitely not going to make it easy for him, you know, and he's doing a great job so far as he's trying to maintain that points lead, and you can't do it no better than what he's doing now, currently being scored in second. Only one more position he can gain, so he's doing a phenomenal job up there. Hey, Ron.
Yeah, with Chris running as good as he is, even though Calvin's running as good as he is, it's going to be really hard for Calvin to make up those valuable points he's got to make up to actually take the lead. So, like you said, Chris is doing an amazing job. Yeah,
Chris Stump, he's number 1 in points. Calvin Allison second. Tommy Haynes, Charles Widner, I believe, is in 4th. John Wimbish in 5th. All right, they're doubled up, and they're getting ready to go green again here as the pace car comes through 3 and 4. It's going to leave it up to Calvin Allison to hammer down. Green flag. Wow, we got trouble early on in the back. The 8 machine, I believe we had another one. It stays green though, so we'll go back up front here to our race leader, Calvin Allison out front, Chris Stump in second, Todd Sargent, Chris Garrett, and Dustin Ping rounds out the top 5 here as we get back going green here. We're only 17 laps in. I'm not sure if they're going to have green flag pit stops or not, but I'm pretty sure they will here before tonight's over because we got a long way to go. About 126 more laps or so. 128.
Yeah, and Chris, man, he looks like he's trying to apply that pressure to Calvin up front, man. He is really right in his tracks, up on his bumper.
Yeah, they're getting right up next to that wall, man, trying to get as much out of the track as they can get without getting into that wall and causing a lot of damage, you know. And, you know, when we did a broadcast here Wednesday, like I said earlier, and, you know, one of the drivers that finished second, he said, yeah, I beat my car up early and went ahead and got it out of the way. He said, so when everybody started beating their cars up later on, then I could race with them.
All right, they was on the same level playing field, huh?
Yeah, I mean, but basically what I'm getting at is pretty much everybody beat their car up here at Darlington, and it still was a phenomenal race. We had a blast calling it, me and Joe, and hey, it turned out pretty good.
Tell you what, Chris is really putting the pressure now. He might be taking the lead here in just a few laps.
Yeah, he's not holding back here. He's all over the back end there. Calvin Allison, as they make their way off turn number 4 here and across the start-finish line one more time. It's going to be 19 laps led there for Calvin Allison so far. And you ain't lying, boy. Chris Stump, he's done found something out there.
Well, he knows that you got to, on these restarts, really just, you know, get everything you can. You can't keep waiting and waiting, because the more those tires wear, the harder it is to pass. And he knows the driver like Calvin, he's just going to set sail if he's up front.
Yeah, you got to stay close to a guy like Calvin. We seen it last week at Richmond. You know, you leave him out front, he definitely knows how to take that advantage and put it to good use there, and he could park that number 28 Ford Mustang off in victory lane one more time, unless Chris Stump can make something happen here. And I don't doubt Chris Stump, man. He's a very fast driver, extremely talented behind the wheel.
Yeah, he's a very patient driver. I'll give him that. Very good.
Yeah, patience is the key, man. And he's got a beautiful car, too, the Voice Attack number 98. And as we talk about it, you see he taps that wall just a little bit. Oh. And he goes around. It's our points leader. As he comes back up on the track just a little bit there. Those guys barely made it by. And, you know, I'm not going to blame Todd Sargent, Chris Garrett. I believe it was Todd or Chris that got into the back of him there. I mean, he pretty much parked it on their nose, as they say in dirt. What's up, Josh Benoit?
Yeah, that's a tough situation to be in because, I mean, there's just nowhere to go.
Yeah, one simple little tap on that outside wall as we watch on the replay here. As he goes through 1 and 2, one little simple tap here on the outside wall sends that car a frenzy. As he tries to hang on to it, it's really slick down on the bottom, and he comes right up the track in front of, I'm not sure who that was. I believe it was Chris Garrett.
Yeah, that was Chris.
Yeah, Chris Garrett, I mean, not a whole lot he can do. Is he picked up a little bit of damage on the front end of that machine as well. And, hey, while we're under caution, if you're out there watching, you want to get a word in with one of these drivers, find out what they got going on out there on the racetrack, let us know who it is and what you want to ask them, and we'll see if we can get them on the radio. Right now, Hooligan Motorsports leading the race here. Calvin Allison, Brian Wynn, our Hooligan Motorsports, by the way. See if we can get Chris Garrett's damage there is quite extensive for a little tap like that. So he's going to sit in there and try to get that thing worked on. I do not blame him.
Yeah, it didn't look like a hard hit, but it was pretty solid. So it might have been did a little bit more damage than it looked. It's definitely not what those guys wanted to see 25 laps into this race.
Yeah, still early on. We're on our second caution of the night. And if you're just now tuning in, I'm Jerry West, and I got Dustin German up here with me, and we're watching the 2018 Voice Attack Grand National Series, the United Southern Racing League. And if you're interested, any information about the USRL, look at the description of the video, unless you're watching on Twitch, of course. Don't have a whole lot of information there. Trent Potter says, watch out for Todd Sargent tonight. Yeah, Todd Sargent right now is the race leader, I believe. He took over that lead on pit row. And I don't see nobody asking interview anybody. Let's get a word in with Todd. Hey, how about Todd Sargent?
10-4.
Todd Sargent, Jay Weezy, you got a copy?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, doing good, man. You got some fans out there rooting for you. They say, watch out for Todd Sargent tonight, man. What's the track feel like? How fast the car? And what's your shot at parking this thing in victory lane?
Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat old Calvin. I hate to see Chris get put out there like that. He's been practicing good all week, but hope I can keep this thing one piece to the end. We got a long way to go here.
Oh yeah, and you know, Darlington, it's too tough to tame, so don't try to tame it. But you got that #1 spot right now. See if you can take advantage of it. But we know you got a hard charger right behind you, man. So good luck out there, man.
I appreciate it. It's going to be tough to hold him off with fresh tires here, but we'll do what we can.
Hey, no doubt about it. Like I said, you got some people out there pulling for you, so good luck.
Hey, thank everybody for watching.
That's a classic guy there, Todd Sargent. He's definitely starting in a great spot, man, up front.
Yeah, he's got that clean air on his nose, and yeah, I was noticing him back there, and we were really talking about Calvin and Chris, but he was just lurking, being patient, doing what he has to do, and it's paid off right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they got lane choice here. I doubt it. But I don't know if I'd rather want to start on the outside or the inside. Either way, I'd probably still go with the inside. But they got a lot of fast drivers currently in the top 5 right now. See Tommy Haynes moving up there in the 6th spot right now. He's doing a great job. Todd Sargent started outside pole. He took over the lead there on pit row. So let's see if he can make something happen here when they go back green. And they're about to do that right now. Great timing by Calvin Allison there. He timed that restart perfect.
Yeah, Todd's really going to have his work cut out for him here. He might be able to hold Calvin off, but he actually stayed out on that last pit stop, so we'll see how it works out for him.
Yeah, what a great job by the drivers there as they went through 1 and 2 there. Todd Sargent in the wall, and here comes Calvin Allison with one full head of steam there. Coming off of turn number 4. Start-finish line, Todd Sargent was not the leader. Calvin Allison took over that lead, and he's going to make it 23 laps led here so far as he's back up front in the 28 machine is the number 1 of Stephen Page trying to he's looking to make a pass there on Todd Sargent as they go into turn number 3. Todd Sargent's still very fast, and he's got them side by side right behind him. That's exactly what he wants to see. Nicky Z, they say, in the 93, side by side with Stephen Page.
We haven't heard that one in a while, but I like that.
Yeah, remember that? Nicky Z in the 93.
Bringing back some memories there.
Yeah, old RFC days, man. I tell you what, looking strong right now is the 17, Tommy Haynes. We know he's ran a lot of laps here at old Darlington, man, and he's got a strong race car. But right now, he's got 5 other strong race cars in front of him, currently being scored in 6th right now. Keith Dunn, the 03 Sitgo machine, looks like he's had a little bit of that Darlington stripe early on in this race. Currently be scored in 7th. So we got a battle up here between teammates. We got 2 rows side by side, Todd Sargent and Nicky Z trying to make it happen as they cross that start-finish line. Todd Sargent maintains that spot. Nicky Z has to back off going into 1. You don't want to go into 1 side by side. It can be deadly for the guy on the outside there. The 76, he's got that little bit of damage on that car, but still extremely fast with his teammate Stephen Page right behind him.
Yeah, it looks like they're not letting Calvin get too far ahead here. They are battling for the top spots here, 5th on through 7th place. Yeah, there's a couple guys back here we hadn't been talking about, like you said, Tommy Haynes and John Wimbish. It's like John's just trying to let it fill it out, and Tommy, all them guys are trying to let it fill out the race and see how it goes here. Let these guys, like you said before, get into the wall and kind of match up with them.
Yeah, we know John, he's one of those strategy drivers, you know, so he'll start in the back, work his way up through the field. Right now, he's being scored 9th in the 21 machine. Not far behind his teammate, the 17 machine, Tommy Haynes. So that team's currently 6th and 9th there with Tommy Haynes in 6th. JCR Racing, they got a huge team. I believe Dustin Phillips, Jamie Christensen, Bruce Potter, Dale Albright, Chris Stump, Todd Sargent, Tommy Haynes. They were all JCR guys. We got Dirty South Racing out there, Keith Dunn in the 03 machine, and of course Hooligan Racing, your race leader Calvin Allison, Brian Wynn. Those two guys on the same team. And Highline Racing's out there, Charlie Widner, Chris Garrett, JJ Garrett, Stephen Page. The 03, Keith Dunn, making it happen there. He run a low line there through 3 and 4, and he did it very well. He's got a beautiful race car. I love the paint job on that 03 Keith Dunn.
Looks like a lot of these guys are going to be looking to capitalize on Chris Stump's misfortune. Chris is back there running way off the pace in 12th place. So what could be a bad night for him might be a good one for others.
Yeah, trouble early on. I agree. And trouble early on. Oh, we got a little trouble here. The 03, Keith Dunn. He holds it up out of the way there. It's the number 3 of Dustin Ping. Gets around him. It's going to stay green. Let's go back on the replay and find out what in the world happened. All right. Let's keep an eye on Keith Dunn here as he comes off turn number 2. When he heads off into 3, he's got Tommy Haynes right in front of him. Taps the wall. It's like a magnet, man. He gets stuck into it. Nick Zaltner gets a little contact with him, as well as the 3 machine of Dustin Ping. But great job by the drivers there for keeping it green. And you know, you're gonna have that. You're gonna have it where these guys they get into the wall, and it's not so easy to get off of that wall. It's almost like it's magnetized or something, and it wants to hold you up there. But then again, once you're up there, you kind of got to hold it up there. You don't want to take out any other drivers, because you got to race with these guys week in and week out, you know.
See, a guy that's really impressive right now, that's Chris Garrett. He's got quite a bit of damage, and he is pulled up onto the back deck lid of Calvin Allison there.
Chris Garrett, he's got a fast race car. As he's closing that gap quickly there that Calvin Allison opened up early, he had about 0.5 of a second, about a half a second lead over Chris Garrett. Chris Garrett, he's done trimmed that down to a little over 1/10, about 1/10.5. So he's, I'm sure Calvin Allison can see that coming in his mirrors. So Calvin might have to step it up a little bit, but he's having a phenomenal race in that 76. Even with that little bit of front end damage, he's making it work.
Tell you what, turn 1 and 2 here is treacherous tonight. There's a couple guys just banging off that wall in the middle of 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's a little awkward going into turn 1. You know, you go in really high speed, and oh no, he taps the wall there again. Chris Garrett, he's gotten to the wall there 2 laps in a row. As you've seen the lap before that, he tapped it coming off of 2. But you really got to go through 1 and 2 perfect. When you get back in the throttle, you got to do it at the right time, because it's very tricky coming off of turn number 2, man. That wall, I'm telling you, if you haven't drove here at Darlington, you'll never know what I'm trying to say. But if you have drove, I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird track. It's kind of something you don't normally do at any other track, especially like a 1.5 miles. You go in, let off, and you punch the gas right back down to the floor, and you got to get right up by the wall and keep it there until you exit turn 2.
Oh, Todd Sargent. A lot of Darlington stripes going tonight.
Yeah, I think Calvin's got a strategy here, and that's just to try to keep his car clean. Cause he's got to clean his car out here. I think that's why we got people running up on him and catching him. Is he's just trying to take it easy and click these laps off. We still got a long ways to go.
Yeah, we seen Chris Garrett pull right up to the back bumper there, and then all of a sudden, you know, he had a little contact with the wall, and then, Calvin Allison pulls back away. He's almost 7/10 ahead of him now, so his strategy's working, and it's a good strategy. Keep that car clean. Yeah, Ron. I mean, Ron Holyfield says it seems like you're wrecking every lap at Darlington. I agree. It's hard not to wreck. I mean, you fight the whole race to try not to wreck, honestly. It's probably one of the top 5, top 3, maybe the toughest track on the schedule in any league you're in. You know, when you see them, you're coming up on the Darlington race, there's a lot of people not too happy about it as the top 17 of Tommy Haynes makes his way around Stephen Page in the 1, and Stephen let him go pretty easy. No sense in fighting, and I don't blame him there. Tommy Haynes got a pretty clean car there still.
Yeah, looking back through this field, looks like everybody out here except for maybe Calvin has a Darlington stripe or two, which, I mean, ain't a bad thing. That's, you know, you got it out in the way like you said before, so we're waiting on Calvin to see if he does it. So,
hey, Black Flags Matter, man. Thanks for tuning in over on the YouTube side. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We're watching the 2018 Voice Attack Series here, the United Southern Racing League. Awesome race so far. We've had a couple cautions, and Ron Holyfield's right again. He says all it takes is a tiny slip and it'll end your night, and that's exactly what happened there to Chris Stump, which his night's not over yet, but it definitely ended his chance, or at least hurt his chances at getting a win. Right now, Chris Stump, your points leader, he's being scored at 1 lap down, so yeah, it hindered his chances a lot at getting the win. As we've been watching the 17 of Tommy Haynes, John Wimbish up to 6th in the 21 machine. He's having a great run tonight.
Yeah, Tommy's really working overtime right now on the 30 car. His back bumper trying to get by Todd there, and he probably thinks, you know, if I can get by Todd, I can go up there and challenge for this win, you know. Which he very well could. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Tommy Haynes, he narrowed it down to 0.2 of a second there, trying to get up to Todd Sargent. And, you know, Todd Sargent, he's been in the wall there once or twice. So, but also John Wimbish, he looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the front of his machine. So a lot of cars out there with either a Darlington stripe or a little bit of damage either on the front or the right front.
Yeah, and like we were saying before, this track is very narrow. The racing groove isn't very wide. So Tommy's trying to get by Todd here, but there's just nowhere to go. Looks like we have a wreck somewhere here on the Speedway. Oh man, this JJ looks like he's cooked that thing now. I'm not sure what happened. Oh yeah, turn 2 looks like bit him.
All right, well, I guess we're under caution here. Sorry about that, I had to take a drink, but we'll go back and find out what happened here. It's Jason Garrett. Yeah, he's smoking. Pretty tough. Let's go back and see what happened to 73. We ride along on the helmet cam. He just hard into the outside wall coming off of turn number 2. So he spins back up on the track there. and he smokes out the backstretch there. So that's probably going to end his night here at Darlington for race number 12. Let's go back live here and watch these guys come off a pit row. Calvin Allison, he's been putting the smack down, so to speak. Hey, B-Goss. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for watching. He's on the Twitch side. Love the Twitch side, man. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. So however you're watching, we definitely appreciate it. And I'm sure the USRL guys do too. United Southern Racing League. These guys coming in, making their pit stops. Charlie Whitner being scored your race leader right now. He's out there leading him a lap, trying to get some points. But like I was saying, you're watching the 2018 Voice Attack Grand National Series, the United Southern Racing League. And hey man, thanks for watching. And we couldn't do it. They couldn't do it without Voice Attack. Check out Voice Attack at voiceattack.com. You won't have to mess with none of them buttons no more. You can do it all with your voice.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I might need to get me some of that.
Oh, you got to check it out, man. I'm telling you, I've did a lot of research on it. But all right, while we're under caution, let's get a word in with our race leader, Calvin Allison, the 28 machine. Calvin Allison, it's Jay Weezy in SRTV booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
So it looks like you're taking it easy. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you're hanging on to the lead. You're not really pushing that car. You got one of the cleanest cars out there. You definitely got a fast car because you've been up front all night. You've led 50 laps so far. How's it going for you?
It's going good. I'm basically just racing the track right now. I just don't want to knock the toe out on the right front and then have to fight it the rest of the race like I'm thinking that some of these boys have done already.
Yeah, you know, me and Dustin, we was talking about that. We was like, you know, maybe Calvin's taking it easy, letting them other guys run their cars really hard, and you know, if you have to, you'll step on it, but still a little early out there, man. You're doing a great job. Good job, man.
Thank you.
All right, well, maybe we can catch you in victory lane, and you can make it 2 in a row. How about that?
I'm gonna try to.
Hey, good luck out there.
Thanks.
Oh, Calvin Allison, he won last week. He won at Richmond, and he did it in a fine fashion too. You know, he led every lap, I believe. You have to go back and watch it. Pretty fun. Is Calvin Allison a member of the legendary Allison family is the question. And you know what? I wish I'd have seen that question earlier. But hey, we still might get a chance to talk to him. We can bring that up, Ron. He drives like it.
Showing some Allison traits, that's for sure.
He drives like it, man. He's got that paint job.
Every time we talk to him, he's just as cool as he can be, and man, he's fast.
I agree. Totally agree. Yeah, he's fun to talk to. You know, sometimes I don't want to talk to him because I feel like I'm bothering him. You know, he's out there. He's so focused, you know. But yeah, he's a cool guy to talk to. It's always fun talking to these drivers. And like I said, hey, if we have another caution, if you got a driver you want to talk to, let me know who it is and what you want to ask them. We'll try to get it on our next caution here. But the green flag's about to fly here for Calvin Allison one more time as he's set to hammer down. Send these babies flying down into turn 1 as the 17 gets a little loose on the outside there. That's Tommy Haynes. Now he's got a whole bunch of the 76 to look at because the 76 going to take over that number 2 spot as Calvin Allison takes off, gets a nice lead there over second place. John Wimbish up to 4th, looking good. Oh, wow, the 17 gets that stripe going.
Yeah, it looks like John might have been watching what Calvin's doing up there because he's been methodically working his way to the front very slowly.
John is driving the wheels off of that 21 machine and ever so slightly moving up towards the front of the pack here as he's barreling down the backstretch right now, right behind his teammate Tommy Haynes, the 17. Got to be very careful. At any moment, these cars can get into the walls, so they got to be very patient. And, you know, hey, you only got a split second to make that decision if a car, you know, if you're coming off the corner and you got somebody wrecking in front of you, you got to make a decision very quickly, and hopefully you make the decision, the right decision. But like I like to say, man, you know, it's luck. You know, you go with your gut, and hopefully it was right.
And here things happen so quick, it's just kind of hard. You got to rely on luck a little bit.
Yeah, you try to predict which way you think that car's going to go. Chris Garrett into the wall there as he went through 1 and 2. Tommy Haynes had to check up. Here comes the 21, John Wimbish, as they go side by side. Chris Garrett not going to let Tommy by. Tommy with a heck of a save there coming off a fork. Chris Garrett just was not going to give it up. Tommy took it. Now he's got his hands full of the 21. He's probably... Oh, they almost made contact there. The 17 lets the 21 by. These guys are teammates. There's going to be a whole lot of fighting going on between them. Now they got to run down Calvin Allison. The problem is Calvin's done opened it up to 2.8 seconds because these guys had to check up for that little bit of misfortune for the 76 machine. So it's going to be hard to run down Calvin Allison here.
Yeah, that's what makes this series so competitive and so fun to watch, man. These guys know it's coming down to the wire, and they're running every lap like it's the last, trying to fight and claw their way up to the front.
Yeah, and we're not even halfway, you know, so we gotta, if this is what we got to look forward to, it's definitely going to heat up a little bit more here as the race goes on.
Yeah, it looks like Calvin can finally can breathe a little bit and maybe take his foot off the gas a little bit and just let this thing float around here and not work so hard.
Yeah, the main thing is to keep all the fenders on. They don't have to be on perfect. They got to be on, though, so you just got to take care of your machine the best you can, and hopefully that thing's still fast at the end. Things are a little bit spread out right now, which is looking good for a long green flag run. The 17 in the wall. Tommy Haynes having a little bit of trouble in 3 and 4. As the number 1 is Stephen Page makes a move to the inside, gets around that 17 as they go into turn 1. Top 5 is going to be Calvin Allison, John Wimbish, Stephen Page, Tommy Haynes, and Chris Garrett. Just out of the top 5, as we look a little bit further back, we got Dustin Ping, Keith Dunn, Brian Wynn, Chris Stump, and Charlie Widner having a great run here as he's currently being scored in that number 10 spot, P10.
Yeah, and touch back on what Calvin was talking about during that caution break. You knock the toe out of these cars, you kind of got to do double the work with half the input, you know, or half of the result. So it really makes for a long night.
Yeah, I was trying to explain that the other day. You know, a lot of people don't understand when you get into the wall with these cars, it will knock that toe out. It'll cause that car to be an ill-handling race car. And then, you know, like you said, you know, you work twice as hard for twice the result. So you just got to be very careful. We're back under caution. Tommy Haynes. So he loses it on the backstretch. Not sure. Oh, he's got a lot of damage on that number 17 voice attack Ford Mustang. Let's go back and find out what happened to Tommy. It's getting some pressure there, it looks like, from Stephen Page as they dive down into one. Looks good. Gets a little high coming off. And gets into the wall. And around he goes. And a little bit of contact between him and Stephen Page. Stephen Page, he didn't go around, but he caught up a little bit of damage off of that. And I tell you what, these cars are looking worse and worse as the race goes on. But we got two good-looking race cars up front still, and that's John Wimbish and Calvin Allison, your race leaders. They make their way down pit row. Take a look at our race information here. Currently, caution number 4. Been under caution for 10 laps here this race. 10 laps out of 70 so far, so it's been pretty good.
Yeah, they're really clicking these laps off. And John, I don't know if he wanted to see that caution there or not. He had actually caught Calvin, but he might want to get some 4 fresh tires now, and he'll be starting right there neck and neck with Calvin and see what he has for him.
Yeah, and a lot of these drivers that were taking it easy early on might start working their way up through the field here. We got a lot of cars with damage, a lot of cars that are multiple laps down, and a few cars out. So looks like, I believe Corey Blevins went out pretty early. Him and Dustin Phillips, Garrett Robinson as well. So we got 3 that are out for sure. Then we might have a couple that are still trying to get their car fixed up and get it back out there on the track. But right now, Nick Zaltner, JJ Garrett, they are in pit lane getting some work done.
So they got Tommy's car fixed up. He's coming back out here. These guys are going to run these cars till they won't go anymore. At this late in the season, they're trying to get every point they can grab, especially as tight as we are here in points. So.
Oh yeah. And if I know Tommy, he'll drive it till the wheels fall off, and then he'll get out and push it with the wheels off. So I mean, he ain't no quitter.
He'll radio down to John and be like, "Hey man, give me a push."
Yeah, John's like, no, I'm chasing down this win.
Yeah, John's still looking for his first win this season, so give him a chance. He might do anything to get that.
Yeah, we're teammates, but we're also racing.
That's right. Teammates, you can throw that out the window, especially when it comes down to the wire.
Yeah, John Wimbish looking at his car right here. He's got a pretty clean race car. I mean, it's not quite as clean as this one here, the 28. But he's probably still got a little bit in the tank for the 28. But we don't know what the 28's got. He might have a lot more to give here. So I know it's going to be hard to get around Calvin Allison.
Yeah, if John can get up there and apply a little bit of pressure, like you were talking earlier about another guy in another league you were broadcasting, Calvin's clean right now. Everybody else has got the Darlington stripe. So if we can get him on the level playing field with everybody else, we might have us a race.
We'll find out. Lights off on the pace car. They're going to go around one more time. And next time they go down into one, they're going to be doing about 150. So we'll find out if the 21 is going to have anything for Calvin Allison here as the race goes on. As we're just now getting to halfway when they cross that start-finish line.
Yeah, John's car don't look too bad. It actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, he's got a little scratch on the front of it, but I don't see a whole lot of damage there. But that 28 is shiny.
Green flag back out, and there goes Calvin right back to where he took off from before. He's going down in turn 1, loud pedal to the floor. Stretching it out over John here. We'll see how John can see if he can catch back up to him.
Yeah, he's already opened it up to 6/10, so a little bit over a half-second lead. Our closest battle right here, the 17 of Tommy Haynes with the 00 of Brian Wynn. Brian Wynn's got a pretty good looking race car right there too. As he lets Tommy Haynes on by, he might just say, hey, go ahead, I'm saving mine for later.
Yeah, like you said, we're halfway through this thing, and man, we still got a lot of racing to go.
Yeah, it looks like Tommy Haynes still fast out there. Let's see if we can compare these lap times here between Tommy Haynes and Calvin Allison. So he ran a 29.4. Calvin Allison ran a 28.4. So yeah, he's a little off pace as far as that goes. John Wimbish, he ran a 28.5, so he's still got something for Calvin Allison. He's only about 0.8 of a second off lap times, but 0.8 of a second's a lot when you're talking lap after lap. So we'll find out if John can. There we go. Now John's narrowed it down a little better. Our leader ran a 28.67. John Wimbish ran a 28.69. It's only 200ths. Like John's starting to pick up the pace here. He don't want to let Calvin Allison get out too far ahead of him. Yeah, it's definitely a one-lane track there, Ron. That time by, John Wimbish was the fastest car on the track. So John picking up the pace still.
Looks like most of our action tonight came out of turn 2. Man, it's a tough track, like you said, and turn 2 just bites you out of nowhere. You think you're good, and bam, it's done got you.
Yeah, I said, you know, it's almost like that wall moves, you know, like it likes some people and it don't like some people, and sometimes it'll just jump out and snatch you up.
That's the thing John's doing. You know, John's been running a good race, and Calvin's been running an awesome race, and all it's going to take is one little slip up, and it could just completely change the way this race is gone.
I'm looking at the battles on the track. Closest battle right now is going to be between Keith Dunn and Brian Wynn. Keith Dunn in the 03, Brian Wynn in the 00. Looks like Brian Wynn, or Keith Dunn, kind of stretched it out there a little bit over Brian Wynn. I like that paint job on that 00. It's a great looking car. But that 03 looks good and fast. Still got a little damage on the front end, a little bit on the back left corner, but going down some decent lap times. Currently being scored in 7th right now. Started 12th, so he's gained about 5 spots here. So we still got about 65 laps to go. Calvin Allison up front. He's out to almost a second lead there over the 21 of John Wimbish. Running in third is going to be Chris Garrett in the 76. And we got Dustin Ping in 4th. Stephen Page right behind him in that 1 machine. Being scored in 6th spot, the number 5, Charlie Whitner. Right behind him, we got the 03. He's going to be scored in 7th spot there with the 00 of Brian Wynn, and you see that 00 right there. Started 15th up to 8th. He gained 7 spots. In 9th place, Chris Stump came out the gates looking strong. Very fast race car. Got in a little bit of trouble Got a little damage on that thing. It slowed it down a little bit, but he's currently being scored in 9th place. He's hanging on to it. And same thing with this guy, Tommy Haynes, extremely fast out the gate. A little bit of trouble. Now he's got some damage hindering him, holding him back. Currently being scored in 10th. Let's take a look further on through the field. 11th is Bruce Potter, the 59 machine. He's got a good looking car. A little bit of, you know, got the Darlington stripe as well. As typical for this place here. It's too tough to tame in Darlington, South Carolina, but 59, he's coming off a win at Talladega. He's currently in a 11th spot after starting 17th. 12th, the 26th Tide machine of Dale Albright started 16th. He gained 4 spots. He's up to 12th. 13th is going to be the 88 of Jamie Christensen, the JCR podcast machine. Toyota Camry. He comes off turn number 4. He started 10th. He lost a couple spots, currently being scored in 13th. 14th, the number 30, Todd Sargent. This is not dirt, Ethan. Todd Sargent out there. He started 2nd, very fast, came out the gate strong. That AOL Chevy Camaro, but a little bit of trouble early on. And now he's back in that 14th spot. We go back up front. 2nd place here, John Wimbish. Currently 2.1 seconds behind Calvin Allison. And, you know, I got some people out there say, oh, this ain't dirt racing. Well, yeah, you know, I've been doing an awful lot of dirt racing. And finally get to do some asphalt. So I enjoy it. And thanks to the USRL guys for having me over here. And the Voice Attack series is awesome, man. 2018 Voice Attack Grand National Series. And check out Voice Attack. VoiceAttack.com. That way you don't have to use your fingers. It works really good for guys with VR. You do everything with your voice. Looking at our race leader, 28 of Calvin Allison. Last lap, 29.857. Second, John Wimbish in the 21 car. His last lap was a 30.316. So he's about 4 or 5 tenths slower, almost a half second slower than Calvin Allison. So Calvin out there running strong right now.
Yeah, I'm just continue to be impressed by Chris, man. He just does not give up. He's running, you said, like 9th place now. And he's still out there. His car's beat all to you know what. And, man, he's not giving up.
Yeah, as he lets the 21 by, man. And I tell you what, that's the mentality you have to have, you know. And that's how I am, you know. I'm not going to quit until that thing will not let me back out there. And that's just how it is. Fortunately, I've been, you know, lucky lately. It's been a while since I had a DNF, but I mean, hey, if it's going to run, I'm going to run it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to explain to people at home watching the race that's never tried it. When you get a beat-up car, you're 5 miles an hour off the pace or whatever it may be, and it's just the hardest thing to do to ride around here slow and not competitive. But you got to look at the big picture. It's hard to do that, but some people can do it.
Yeah, you know, we dedicate ourselves to these races, and you know, sometimes we have 36 race seasons. And, you know, and we're only racing once a week. So you figure 4 races a month. That's a long season. So, you know, when we go out there and we do these races, we give it our all. And, you know, like I said, I'm not going to quit until it tells me I can't take it no more. Caution.
Yep, caution's out again here.
The 00 of Brian Wynn. Like he had some trouble there off turn 2. Hey, turn 2 is like you would say, what, calamity corner? It's been giving him a hard time.
I think the lady in black standing over there on the other side of the fence in turn 2, and I think she's distracting these boys.
Well, Ethan, you just let me know, buddy. I got the hookup. All right, we're looking at the replay here. Let's find the 00 of Brian Wynn. Oh, sorry. All right, so he's coming through 1 and 2. As he comes off turn 2, look like it pushes up into the wall right in front of Jamie Christensen. Jamie barely misses that. The 00 of Brian Wynn did a great job holding it down on the bottom as he smokes out the backstretch. Brings out our, I believe, 5th caution of the night. Let's take a look. Yeah, we're under caution number 5 here as we go back live up front. Our leaders heading down pit road. And we got Chris Stump looking to get his lap back, which I can't blame him for that, you know.
Yeah, it looks like this field's getting a little bit shorter about every caution we have, and we've got 5 people that have retired from the race. So, but man, these guys that are still here, they're giving it all they got. It's just one of those tracks that's really, really tough on equipment and drivers.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Darlington, like I've been saying all night, is one of the toughest tracks, in my opinion, that we as racers go to. So, great point, Ethan. Hey, if anybody out there interested in running with some of this asphalt stuff, check out any of the description. You know, check out the description. You got all the information you need in the description of the video. And if I know you and I can help you out, let me know. I'll put a good word in for you. I know how good a driver you are, Ethan, so you definitely got my support as far as that goes. But while we're under caution, you know, I want to get a talk in with the driver of the number 21. John Wimbish. It's Jay Weezy. You got me?
Yeah, buddy, I got you.
You're looking strong out there tonight, and you got one of the cleanest cars out there on the track. Currently, you scored in 1st. How's it feel, man? And what's your shot at bringing this one home?
Well, it was clean, and right there at the end of that run, I went in 3 and 4 too much and got up in the wall, but what's going to happen here? So, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. Calvin's, you know, super strong as always, and I just got off pit road a little bit sooner than he did, but we'll see how we are on this fuel run here. We might be able to pull something out the hat, or it might be a race for 2nd and 3rd, you know. Hey,
absolutely. Well, you know, I mean, you went on pit road, you know, you come out 1st. That's going to give you a big advantage. You're going to be able to set these things off down into turn 1. It's going to be on you. I mean, unless y'all go on green.
No, leader's in charge of all restarts and initial start and all that good stuff. So,
well, that's hey, that's going to help you out a lot, man. You can use that to your advantage. You think you can get out a little bit on him?
Yeah, I can get out a little bit on him, but Calvin's real patient, and he knows how to get around just about every day going where we go. And you know, if you can beat him and his car is clean, then you've either really figured something out or sold your soul to the devil. So,
well, it looks like you might have sold your soul because Calvin just come back down pit road here, John.
He might be coming down to top off, trying to make it the rest of the way, but I'm saving as much as I can too here. So,
well, we've been talking about Calvin being able to stay out front, stay strong, keep it on the wall. He don't have a scratch on his car yet, but that's putting him back here in the back, and that might be just what you guys might have needed for him to go to the back.
Yeah, it'd be a big help. We got Chris Garrett out here too. He's been real fast, you know, all night. I know he was catching me there at the end of that run. I was trying different stuff and really just ended up making myself look dumb. So just have to get back to business here and see how it goes.
Hey man, it's time to go to work. Good luck out there.
Yeah, I appreciate it, boys.
John Wimbish looking good. He's definitely got a shot at bringing this one home. Let's see if he can do it. The pace car's in. Green flag's going to come out here for John Wimbish. He's going to set him off.
Yeah, and he gets a heck of a run out on turn 1 here.
Yeah, and I like what you said there to John about Calvin Allison coming back and topping off on the pit rows. We're watching the 28 here. He's going to have to make his way up through the field. A lot of torn up race cars, and definitely puts him in a chance to getting caught up into something. Tearing up that beautiful race car. No more clean air for him. So he's definitely got his work cut out for him. Oh.
Yeah, Calvin knows how to get around this place, and he knows his car better than anybody, but man, that'd been hard for me to go to the back. I think I'd have rather chance pitting under green or whatever I had to do to keep the, get more fuel, but maybe that's the race winning call. If he keeps his cool and stays patient like he was and just pick his way through this field, he still has time, but it's going to be nerve wracking.
Yeah, he's definitely got his work cut out for him, to say the least. Man, I mean, is fuel that important? I'm not sure. I really don't know how many laps they're going to get, because they haven't had to make green flag stops yet, but he does have the best shot at it. I mean, but to come in for, say, 0.3, a third of a gallon maybe, or a little over a quarter of a gallon, man, that's a tough call, and he's going to have to work really hard to get around these guys to get back up towards the front, unless that call pays off and these guys in front of him start running out of fuel. Then he's looking good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did that to top off to make it to the end or not. I don't think they can make it that far, but maybe they can. It's going to be close, and like you said, man, I just don't know if that's a big enough risk versus reward kind of thing. But it's definitely going to make it interesting to watch him come to the field.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely wouldn't have gave up that many spots and put myself further back in the field just for that little bit of gas, which is maybe a lap worth. But hey, if he was a lap short, and he then that's a different story, So if these guys have to start saving fuel to make it to the end, and he don't, then he'll run them down quick.
I think he might be actually saving fuel right now. I can't really see what he's running on lap times, but he really isn't making up any ground. And he's running against cars with a lot of damage, so he might have a strategy here. I think I know what he's doing.
Says Ron said Darlington is also a battle of nerves, as it is very frustrating being on the edge all night. Every lap takes its toll on you after a few laps, and I totally agree, especially the longer the race goes on and closer it gets to the end of the thing, man, then it really starts to put pressure on you as a driver to make every lap count and hit all your marks as perfect as you can. But we're watching John Wimbish try to hold off the 76, and he was right in his interview. He said, hey, man, Chris Garrett, 76, he's been fast. And I've ran a race or two with that 76 machine, and I know he is fast. But I don't know if he can get around John Wimbish, because like we always say, catching them's one thing, passing them's another. But we know how hungry that John is for a win, so it's definitely going to be hard to get around that 21.
Yeah, and going back on what Ron just said, this track right here was never one of my favorites. It's hard to come in here and do a race here just regular, maybe if it's the second race of the season, but to come in here with 3 to go and having to come in here with this tight points battle, it is a nerve-wracker, and it will get under your skin. You'll hate this place when you leave it. You either hate it or you'll love it. And the only person that really loves it I've seen is the guy in Victory Lane.
Yeah, I agree. We see how tricky it is, man, as we're riding along here with Chris Garrett. I mean, really got to work that throttle as you're coming through 1 and 2 and make sure you get back in it as soon as you can, but at the right time as well. So very tricky. He's right up on the back bumper now. He's done ran him down. John might be playing it a little bit conservative, but Chris Garrett looking strong as he moves to the inside. John's gonna let him by. JT Wimbish gonna drop back to second. We got a new leader. The 76 machine of Chris Garrett takes over that lead. Lap 108 coming to 109, and that's gonna be his first lap led all night here. And he's starting to pull away pretty quick here. So he is looking really strong, unless John is conserving fuel, which is definitely a possibility. Because like you said, Dustin, I mean, I'm not sure if they can make it to the end on fuel anyways. But we're going to find out. Right now, Chris Garrett, he's not holding nothing back as he's charging around as your race leader. John Wimbish, let's go on board with John Wimbish and see if he might be saving a little bit. So we're gonna have to try to listen to that throttle and watch those RPMs. I doubt he's clutching it at this point. Oh yeah, oh, he is saving big time now as he is clutching it as he enters the corner. Started 19th, currently second. Just gave up that lead there to the 76 of Chris Garrett. Gained 17 spots. It's the 30 Todd Sargent. Currently being scored 5 laps down. He might be trying to make his way around John Wimbish and Chris Garrett to get one of those laps back under green. And hey, if a caution comes out, Ty Sargent might get another lap back. So, you know, cautions, they come out more often. Cautions breed cautions, and the later it gets, the more often they do come out. Especially when you got a lot of hungry drivers fighting for a win. And right now, Ty Sargent's all over John Wimbish. John's probably just gonna let him go here. And let him go he does.
Yeah, looking back through my notes from what the fuel run is here, Calvin's gonna have to save quite a bit of fuel. I'm talking 3 or more laps. I don't know if he can do that. We're about to find out, but I would have banked on a caution, but I've done that before and didn't have one, so you just never know how these races are going to play out.
Yeah, and I tell you what I'd have done. I definitely would have ran this thing as hard as possible. And let's see, they've been out there for 15 laps. So they had 46 to go, a little bit over 46 to go. I would have split that in half, and I'd have come in at about lap 23, 24, and I went ahead and got 4 tires and some fuel. I'd have went back out there, man, because I just don't think saving fuel, and when you have to save that many laps worth, I just don't think it pays off.
Yeah, and the one that it's really only going to maybe work for would be Calvin at this point, I think, is because he went in and topped off and came back out and saved, so. Even with him doing that, he's going to be about 3 laps short. Maybe more. I'm not really sure exactly.
Yeah, and Chris Garrett, he just gave the lead up to John Wimbish. So John Wimbish takes back over that #1 spot. Calvin Allison, he's up to 6th right now. Stephen Page in 3rd. Dustin Ping in 4th. Charlie Whitner rounds out the top 5. Calvin Allison trying to crack his way up into that top 5. And I'm not sure what happened to the 76 car or how the 21 got around him. I didn't quite see it. I was looking at some data when that happened, so I don't know what happened, but maybe the 76 started saving fuel once he noticed what John was doing.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys, that's how it usually turns out. It's kind of hard to tell what people are up to, and you know, if you ain't got an eye in the sky like we do, they would have never knew that he pitted or why he pitted. So John, I mean, some guys are pretty much on it and some isn't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I seen John there. Like he got in the wall a little bit.
Yeah, just a little love tap there.
That's another thing in these cars. When you hit the clutch, I don't know if that's what he was doing. It kind of throws the wheel off sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely don't drive the same, you know. And not only that, when you let go of that clutch, sometimes it'll kick it out on you, you know, and make it get a little bit loose. I'm not sure how loose it is out there tonight. I'm sure it's a little bit slick. But yeah, the car does change the way it handles, you know, when you're trying to save fuel like that. There's about 27 laps to go or so, and I tell you what, I don't think they can do it. If I'm right, I mean, is it the fuel run like 42, 45 laps?
From what I was told earlier, it's 34 to 38. Now I don't know how accurate that is, but I think it's pretty close.
Okay, so say 34 could be the lowest, and then we'll say 45 is the highest. That still ain't enough.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you were 45 and he went back in and topped off and coming out, I mean, he does have a luxury that anybody else out here doesn't have, and that's that he has a clean, fast car. He knows how to get around here. But, I mean, it's going to be a stretch for Calvin to make it. And, which, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be fun to see how this all plays out here coming down to these last few laps.
Well, Calvin Allison, he's done made his way back up to 5th. He just got around the 0-3 of Keith Dunn. Now he's trying to run down Stephen Page. Stephen Page is about a little over a half second out there in front of him here. We can pull this up here for you. I gotta get this off of there. You see Keith Dunn, he's 1.2 seconds behind him, and Stephen Page is 3 seconds ahead of him. So he's got a long way to go. Well, what? Stephen Page made his way around. Dustin Ping coming down pit row here. We got pit stops going on. The 3 machine might have made a right call here. This could be a race winning call by the number 3 of Dustin Ping. It's going to be the first car in pit lane, and he is doing exactly what I said I would do, and I believe this is a race winning call right here.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're not having to save gas. You're running as hard as you can do it. You know, you're on fresh tires. I mean, it's going to put you at a little disadvantage right now, but like you said, we still got some laps to go, so.
And he took 4 tires. 4 tires and fuel.
23 more laps here, it looks like, till the checkered flag. So like you said, 4 tires, fuel. He's good to go here. Everybody else is still having to conserve and save and see what he can do with it.
Yeah, so let's look at this. All right, the 3 of Dustin Ping, he had a 14-second pit stop where he got 4 tires and fuel. From the time he entered pit road to the time he exited pit road, it was 49 seconds. So that's definitely something that he can make up. Now you got to add the time of entering, you know. So I'd say it probably cost him a minute. Maybe a minute and 5 seconds, somewhere like that, to come in and get 4 tires and fuel. But I'm telling you, these guys out there saving fuel, they are losing multiple seconds each lap. So he's definitely got a shot at the win. And man, I'd like to see this 3-car pull this one off on fuel, pit stop strategy and all that. That'd be cool. But I also would like to see a great finish, man. These guys have been putting on a great race so far, and I'm pretty sure it's going to go green the rest of the way. The only thing that would hurt Dustin Ping is if a caution was to come out, because he did go a lap down coming down pit row. So yeah, he don't want to see a caution. Everybody else wants to see a caution.
You know, Calvin's made his way back up to 4th here. Looks like he's about 11 or so seconds behind the leader, Chris Garrett. I'm kind of trying to play this out in my head, like what they're, you know, what some guys are going to do, what some guys aren't going to do. I'm just kind of thinking that everybody's going to have to pit at least once, except for the exception of maybe Calvin, and I think he still might have to pit. I'm kind of trying to think of like what he's going to do, if he's going to take just fuel or 2 tires and fuel, or you know, just a little bit of splash, because he's letting people go right now. He's still clutching.
Oh yeah, he's definitely saving. Let's see if we can pull up his driver information here as he is coming through 3 and 4 right now. Keep an eye on the bottom corner of your screen. You see that RPM box. He's about 7,800 RPMs. Goes all the way down to 1,200 there. That's because he's got the clutch in. Then he pops that clutch and he gets back in it and he's back up to 7,000. So he is saving fuel out there, but I might have to agree with you there, boss. I don't think none of these guys will make it, but then again, I don't know how many laps they can get. You know, it's a big guess up here in the booth.
I know on estimated there was a 58 estimated on iRacing, so you kind of got to figure it out. That isn't exactly what you need to make it, but 34 to 38, that seems about right.
Uh-oh. We got.
Might be what they needed right there.
It stays green.
Yeah, no debris cautions here on iRacing just yet. So
Stephen Page trying to get on pit row. Wow, they almost had some trouble there, and he's gonna get a penalty, man. That commitment cone.
Yeah, pit road's getting ready to start
speeding.
heating up here in the next couple of laps. We're gonna get our questions answered here about what's gonna go on here.
Yeah, I'm going to watch Stephen Page as he comes down pit row here because he missed that commitment cone. He did not cause an accident or he cautioned. So, I mean, that's good for the guys, which, I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't have minded seeing a caution either because he wasn't on pit row yet. But he did miss that commitment cone. So let's see if iRacing holds him for that penalty here. And if it does, that could cancel his shot at it. But we're at 15 to go right now. Chris Garrett still out front by 4.8 seconds, almost 5-second lead over John Wimbish. Calvin Allison, he's up to 3rd. He's 12 seconds behind Chris Garrett and closing. And it's holding him. Stephen Page caught unsafe entry to pit row. And now the caution's out.
Oh, man, that was I don't know. It kind of messes up the strategy there, but that's going to make for a crazy finish. Charlie Widener there. Looks like he got spun around on the back straightaway.
Oh, Charlie Widener, man. Good gosh. I hate to see that for Charlie. I was really pulling for him on this one. He was having a great run here, but now that thing is smoking. So that's going to give these guys a chance to come down pit row. If you're Dustin Ping, you're going to have to take the wave around. That's going to put you at the tail end, so you're going to have your work cut out for you. Let's go back and take a look on the replay and see what happened here to Charlie. And then maybe get us an interview in with one of these guys. Watching the 5 here, Charlie Widener as he comes off of turn number 2. Gets down on the bottom there. Car pushes, taps that outside wall. It shoots him down to the inside wall. We've seen that multiple times tonight. These cars, they're just having a lot of trouble. Yeah, Ron. Everybody was clutching it. It was 48 to go when they went back to green, he said. And I don't think they could have made it. I really don't. But
yeah, I was really curious to find out there, but I think everybody knew they had to stop. I think Calvin had a little something up his sleeve, whether if he did stop as far as what he was going to do. And he might even have intentions of a caution coming out and just having to, you know, take a little splash or maybe saving under caution. You know, maybe that would have helped him out too. So, because he's definitely been a class of the field when it comes to speed. He's had a pretty clean car. You know, everybody getting up into the walls definitely helped him out as far as that goes. But
Well, looks like Chris Garrett won the race off a pit roll, so that's going to give us an opportunity to get a talk in with him. Let's see if we can find Chris Garrett on the radio here. Chris Garrett, it's Jay Weezy, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Hey, man, you got a awesome car tonight. Very, very fast. You got a little scrape on it here and there, man, but I don't think it's holding it back any. Was you going to make it on fuel?
I was about 2 laps. I was going to run out about 2 laps to go, and so I really saved it there. I tried to, but I was still 2 laps short, so I decided I was either going to bank on a caution or go in with about 5 to go, so.
Well, it looks like you made the right call, man. Your team did a good job down on pit road. They got you back out front there. You're going to be able to lead these guys off into turn 1. You're going to be the one sending them back green. It's going to give you a shot to take this thing home tonight, man. You think you can do it?
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, I'm just going to hang it out there.
Hey, well, it's looking good for you, man. Good luck. Hopefully we can talk to you after the race.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, it looks like they, Chris and John here, are gonna get some fuel, get some tires, but they're gonna look up in that rear view mirror and they're gonna see something very familiar. They probably didn't want to see here.
Yeah, and it's white, black, and red and yellow.
Yes, I mean at least
or gold.
Chris is gonna have a car kind of between him and Calvin, so he's gotta make the most of that. But man, it's going to be tough for these guys, but I don't know, anything can happen. You never know what's going to go on here, and these guys definitely have been racing their heart out to make it here. No fast repairs. We're 137 laps into this thing. We got 10 to go, less than 10 to go, so they're not just going to lay over and let somebody by.
No, it's going to be a race, and you know the lights went off on the pace car, so they're going to go green this time around. And you know, like you said, they got the 28 machine in the mirror. He is starting second row inside, which is going to try to give him, or it's going to give him a little bit of an advantage there over the 26 and the 21. Not sure if he'll be able to clear John Wimbish when they go down into 1. I'm not sure if John will even give him a little leeway, but we're about to find out. Race start is going to be on Chris Garrett as he's going to hammer down, pedal to the metal, and he's green.
And he gets an amazing start, and that's going to pull the 28 up alongside John Wimbish here going into turn 1, and John's going to have to give it to him. You cannot enter their turn too wide.
Yeah, Calvin Allison, he's phenomenal start by Calvin as he's flying off a 2 there. Had to check up just a little bit there so he didn't get into Chris. So Chris hangs on to that number 1 spot for now, but 28 making a move around the high side here. He might be a little bit scared to stick it in there between the 76 and the wall, I would. But he's looking good on the inside here as they go door to door into turn number 1. Contact there, the 76 saves it. What a save. He's still trying to hang on to it, and he catches the 26 machine of Dale Albright. So Dale Albright, Chris Garrett get tangled up on the backstretch there, and that's going to put another caution in the air here as our race leader Calvin Allison was trying to get around Chris Garrett. Let's go back and take a look at the replay and find out how that happened.
Oh man, I was getting a little overexcited there, but wow, what's some racing going on there?
Absolutely, man. I do the same thing. Like the first thing you hear out of me is, "Oh."
Man,
all right.
I put myself in the position, you know.
Yeah, here's the replay. So they're going down into 1 side by side. Calvin Allison on the bottom. Little contact there as he taps the 76. 76 had a hard time trying to hang on to it there because of that apron. It's really slick down there. And let's go back and watch Dale Albright here, because Dale Albright couldn't get by there as he's seen it happening. And then all of a sudden, wham! It knocks him around. Let's go back and take a look one more time from Calvin Allison's view. Let's find out what did Calvin Allison see as he crosses him over on the front stretch here, and then going into one, they're door to door. Calvin throws it to the bottom. Oh, Chris Garrett in the wall. I didn't see that. Chris Garrett actually hit the wall there and initiated that contact there. And then you seen what happened after that. Dale Albright, Chris Garrett get tangled up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I didn't have time to say a while ago. John entered turn one the last time on the restart and had to give it to Calvin. And that time when he tried to make the move, Calvin that is, tried to make the move on Chris. Chris didn't give, you know, he didn't give him the, you know, the bottom lane and let him by. He was going to race him because, I mean, they're racing for the lead. So I can't blame either one of them for that one. It looks like Chris got to the wall just a hair, and man, that was exciting.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, and it's still heating up, man. It ain't done yet. It ain't done until it's over, and it ain't over. So we're gonna go back green here. And Ron, man, he's been out there watching with us. He said that 3 was looking good until the caution, and I agree. I think Dustin Ping had a shot at that one. I think he might have had a race-winning call there on that one. Dustin Ping right now, currently, he's being scored in 3rd, which isn't too bad there. And he actually has been out there for quite a while, about 19 laps. So he's going to have to restart on some older tires, as well as the 03 Keith Dunn. He's in 4th. He's been out there for quite a while. So top 2, they've been out for, I'd say, about 6-7 laps on their tires. Second row, they've been out for at least twice as long, and maybe 3 times as long. And then that 3rd row, they're not on clean tires either. So the first one on brand new tires is going to be Bruce Potter in the 59, and Chris Garrett in the 76, which is on pit row right now. So I doubt he's going to. He might. He's been in there for about a minute. I'm not sure if he's coming back out or not. But when we go back green, I believe it's going to be a 3-lap race to the end.
Yeah, Jay Weezy, something just happened there during that caution that, or during that wreck that hasn't happened all night, and that's so the 28's got a little bit of right front damage. If you can take that long sight lens and look at it, I don't know if you can, but I think he's equal now. So, I mean, it's perfect time, and he's equal with the field, and we got about 5 to go, it looks like, or less.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what I was saying earlier. You know, everybody bangs their cars up here eventually. You know,
exactly.
And it's,
I mean, he didn't get it. He got a Darlington stripe, but it was off another car. So I don't know. This might just make for a good finish here.
yeah, and you know, Calvin Allison, he's looking good for parking it in victory lane, but he's got John Wimbish there with him. You know, and neither one of those cars has an advantage over the other one. They're both out there on the same tires and all that stuff, so we'll find out.
Calvin Allison, you know, he's got 5 wins so far. You got John on the outside. He don't have any wins this season. So I mean, John's hungry. I ain't saying Calvin in, but John's hungry.
Yeah, John better tighten up. He's laying back just a little bit, man, and that half a car lane is an awful lot. There he goes. Green flag for Calvin Allison. And wow, what a restart there by the 28, as it looked like he had a nitrous button in that car. With 3 to go, he's looking good. John Wimbish in 2nd, Keith Dunn in 3rd in the 03, Dustin Ping in 4th. Dale Albright rounds out the top 5, and these guys are hammered down right now with the pedal to the metal. When Calvin Allison crosses the line this time by, it's going to be 2 to go. And we got a race back here between Dale Albright.
Yeah, 5th position is really heating up right now.
Yeah, Dale Albright, the problem is the 30 is 1 lap down or more, so it's not really a race. Dustin Ping makes a little contact with the wall there. This looked like Todd Sargent trying to pull up there. He's going to let him go, but we're still under green here. Calvin Allison gets to White flag out for the 28. He's going to make it one more lap around. And he's going to take home the win here as long as he hits his marks. He got a little loose there coming off 2.
Oh, yeah, he got a little bit of that apron, man. He was hanging it out on it, too.
As he flies through 3 and 4 here for the last time, makes his way across that start-finish line. Calvin Allison, he's going to make it 2 in a row as he won at Richmond. He's going to win again tonight at Darlington for the 2018 Voice Attack Grand National Series for the United Southern Racing League. Your race winner here at Darlington. He had to battle some adversity. He went a little bit further back in the field, worked his way back up, and then a caution came out, and that just opened the door for him to park his 28 machine in victory lane. We're going to take a look at our race results, and if you guys are out there watching, hang tight. We're going to do some driver interviews here in just a minute. Take a look at our race results. Calvin Allison, of course, your race winner. As he does his burnouts. Let's get a look at these burnouts here. Oh, he ain't going to do nothing. All right, John Wimbish in 2nd, Keith Dunn in 3rd, Dale Albright, Dustin Ping in 5th, Stephen Page, Bruce Potter, Chris Garrett, Chris Stump, Todd Sargent. Sorry about that. Jamie Christensen in 11th, Charles Widner, Tommy Haynes, Brian Wynn, Nick Zaltner, JJ Garrett, Garrett Robinson, Dustin Phillips, and Corey Blevins rounds out the field here for a great race at Darlington. And I know I enjoyed it. And what an exciting finish, man. It was a lot of fun to watch. What did you think?
Man, it was. I love a race I can get involved in as far as strategy goes. And then you got a caution that throws in a monkey wrench in the end. And, man, you couldn't ask for a better finish to a race there. When it, the cream rises to the top. Calvin definitely did that. But everybody had a pretty good chance there at the end. And it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and you had a little bit of everything, man. Thanks, Ron. You had a little bit of everything. You had some long green flag runs. You had different pit strategies. A little bit of everything, man. Phenomenal job by the guys. I'm pretty sure everybody had a little bit of damage on their car one way or the other. But they all put on a great performance tonight, and I was glad to be up here with you, Dustin. Thanks for coming up in the booth with me. And I'll tell you what. We're going to pull up Keith Dunn and find out how did he pull that off and bring it home in 3rd. Let's get a hold of Keith. Keith Dunn, it's Jay Weezy. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, you finished this one on the podium. I've been talking about how good that car looks, man. You got a beautiful paint job on that thing. And it was pretty fast out there tonight, man. How'd you do it?
Well, I was trying to take it easy, and then I got caught up with Nick here and hit the front end on the wall, and it took the speed out of the straightaway. So it took about all night to get it right. And that last pit stop I made, the caution come out, so I was able to take the wave around and have fresh tires. That's about the only way I got back up front.
Oh, yeah, man. Was you looking to see that caution there on that long run? Was you going to make it on fuel?
No, I was about 5 laps short, so I thought I'd short pit. I wasn't wanting the caution to come out, but if it came out the right time.
Well, you started 12th, man. You finished 3rd. You had a great job, great performance out there tonight. A little bit of damage on that Citgo machine, but a great paint job, man. Congratulations on your run tonight. Anybody you want to thank?
I thank Voice Attack for sponsoring the league and guys over at Dirty South Racing, and thank y'all for your broadcast. We'll take it and move on to next week.
Hey, man, we appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun watching you guys out there. We really enjoy it. And, hey, man, you did a good job out there, and it's fun talking to you.
Thank you.
All right, that was our 3rd place finisher tonight. Keith Dunn. He was Dirty South Racing. Put him back up there. Dirty South Racing. I like that. It sounds good.
Too. Looks like Keith might have got picked up a spot in the point standings tonight. He was right behind Steven, like eight points behind. So
Well, you know what time it is. It's time to move on to the number 21 machine here. Finished second. Had a long, hard battle, and he fought all night. Great looking paint job on that Venator camo machine, the number 21 Ford Mustang. John Wimbish, it's Jay Weezy, you got me?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Well, hey, man, I was rooting for you there at the end. I knew you had your hands full, and, you know, I wasn't sure how it was all going to play out with the fuel mileage and all that. I kind of thought the 3 of Dustin Ping made a great call, and I thought he had a shot at it, but that caution come out, it kind of threw a monkey wrench in it.
Yeah, I kept having to save her. I knew when I talked to y'all, Calvin went in top off, and I guess he was still saving some, and I had a couple of guys talking about it. So I was cutting it off and doing all that mess, trying to get as much as I could. And I felt like I was getting enough. I didn't know if Chris Garrett, you know, was really saving enough or if he was just hoping the caution would come out. Caution did come out, so it re-racked everybody and started from scratch. And then had that restart there, and I botched that big time.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about when y'all was getting ready to go green there, he had about a half a car length on you when he hammered down. And when he hammered down, it looked like he had nitrous on that thing. So, you know, it's a little tricky trying to guess those restarts, time those restarts when you're on the outside. But you did a great job out there, man. You finished you started 19th and finished second. Almost pulled off the win for your first win, and I thought you had it there for a minute.
Yeah, you know, anything could have happened. You know, I was kind of hoping that Garrett was up there and just saying heck with it and just racing, because, you know, I'd save a little bit, and then I'd say, all right, I don't want to get too far out front, so then I'd, you know, race a lap, catch back up, save a bit, and did that for a little while. Then I was like, I can't keep his pace up or I'm gonna run out. And I finally just said, heck with it, I'm going to save. If he's got enough, you know, good for him. And I'll just try to, you know, finish second and keep Calvin behind me. But I had that restart there, and then I just spun the daggone tires like a moron.
Yeah, well, you know, that's part of it. You know, you starting on a little bit older tires. You didn't have a whole lot of laps on. I believe you had like 7 laps on them tires. But either way, you know, old tires is old tires if they ain't brand new. But the 21 Venator camo machine was fast. That Ford Mustang was flying. You kept it pretty clean tonight. And like I said, you started 19th and come up through the field to finish second. So congratulations to you on your performance tonight. I thought you did an awesome job. And you was 1 away from getting that win here.
Yeah, I always seem to be 1 or 2 away here and there. But, you know, we know Calvin's real good, and he takes his stuff real serious. I mean, like the rest of us do, but he's got some things figured out, and, you know, it's just our job to figure out how to beat the guy, you know, fairly. I mean, if I'd have got a better restart, maybe I could have pushed him a little bit. I don't want to just flat out wreck a guy, but, you know, I want to win fairly. But Calvin's just tough to beat, man. So it was just a race of attrition there. And starting in the back was actually by accident. The way the race was set up, I guess it didn't click over. And so if you were running a Ford, you were running a weird setup. It wasn't a Darlington setup. So I said, the heck, well, I'll go to the back and try to avoid some carnage. And kind of worked out for me. So, I mean, all in all, I'm happy with it. You know, I'm getting tired of finishing second and third, but could be worse, I suppose. So real happy with the Rocky Boots vendor camo machine here tonight. And, you know, had a good run for JCR, Dale Albright in fourth, Bruce Potter, Chris Stump, Todd Sargent. So Jamie Christian had, you know, a lot of people had some trouble. That's kind of what we needed. But all in all, good night there.
Hey, you came into this thing 5th in the points and, you know, finishing second. It's going to give you a big boost there in the points. So you might gain a couple spots there, and it ain't over yet. You still got a few races left. Hopefully there's some tracks that you're pretty good at. I know you're really good at Michigan. Hopefully the next 3 races are Michigan.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you.
We're going to IRP, which ought to be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin wanted to, you know, have a little something different on schedule. We got IRP and then Homestead, and then that's it, and then we'll start the new season there. So we'll just try to finish it off best we can and have fun, and that's what it's all about, it's having fun with these guys. We got a good group of guys here, you know, just keep building on it, get some more people in here, get our car count up some more for next season, and have you guys on board, and we'll be ready to go.
Hey man, it's awesome, and you know, thanks for having us over here, and thanks to all the admins out there that do what they do, man. I know it's a lot of hard work. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank all these guys here in USRL and Dustin Phillips, everything he's done for the league and putting this, you know, season on and this series here, and you know, I've taken ownership of it now, so kind of got to mind what I do on the racetrack here and there, so that everybody don't complain, because you know, got to make people happy, I guess. But we do have some good racing here. Really excited about it, and excited about the new season with running the Cup car. So just thank all these guys. Thank you guys for putting the race on. Thank everybody that watches, taking the time to do that, and you know, be a part of what we're doing here in USRL.
Hey, and real quick before we let you go, man, speaking of that, we had somebody out there interested in running. What do you want them to do? I got all the information in the description, and I told them, you know, check it out, and if they need some help, let me know. You accepting any for next season?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're going to be putting up some recruitment races. It'll be under the name USRL Recruitment, and putting those on the hosted side there some during the week. And we got a Facebook page. Look up USRL, and we'll take you in there, and you know, to put some of these races up. We want to make sure we got people where they need to be. You know, if you never run a bunch of Cup stuff, we'll work with you and do whatever it takes to, you know, help people get better. That's what it's all about. Calvin House helped me a lot, helped me get better, and all the guys at JCR, we share information. That's what it's about. You know, we don't mind getting outran, you know, fairly. So
yeah,
we just want a good group of guys here, man, like every other league does. Put a good show on for everybody and try to gain sponsors and all that good stuff. So yeah, check us out on Facebook. We're on the iRacing League portal under USRL. So shoot us a message on there, and look us up on Facebook and message us if you got any questions. But yeah, man, we'll take just about anybody, you know, as long as you want to come in and race hard and clean, and you got what it takes. You know, come on.
Hey, absolutely. Have some fun, man. Like I said to you guys out there watching, I got all the description in the description of the video. I got the Facebook page, the member page, the league page on iRacing. If you want to click on that, all that stuff's out there. Check it out, man. Thanks, John. Thanks. Good talking to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dustin, for what y'all doing for us. We really appreciate it.
Hey, man. No problem, buddy. All right, that's going to do it for John Wimbish. Know what time it is now. Our race winner, man, had a hard-fought battle tonight. I actually had to come back up through the field there. I was a little worried about him, but he had the cleanest race car on the track. Had a little bit of contact with Chris Garrett there, but he managed to pull off the win tonight to make it 2 in a row. He won at Michigan, and he's going to bring home the checkered flag here at Darlington. Calvin Allison, it's Jerry West. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you started first, finished first. Can't get no better than that. I was a little worried about you. Like I said, you know, you went a little bit further back in the field. Was you happy when you seen that caution come out?
Not really. I pitted again to top off my fuel after we made 2 pace laps, and I had enough just riding like I was, and I knew everybody else would have to pit. And I was kind of angry when the caution come out, actually.
Yeah, I seen you clutching it on entry to 1 there, and so we knew you were saving a little bit. We wasn't quite sure if anybody could make it the whole way, and if anybody could, we figured it'd be you. You know, Dustin Ping had a great strategy tonight, and if it would have went green, I'm not sure if he would have been able to pull it off. I'm sure a couple people would have had to save a lot more, man, but I don't know if they got anything for you, Calvin. You did a phenomenal job out there tonight. You led 96 laps here at Darlington, and a beautiful race car you got, man. Congratulations on the win again.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Darlington, you just have to race it like a road course and keep your car clean, because if you knock the toe out at all, it's just going to keep pushing up and up in the center. And I think I was the only one that actually finished the race with no incidents, so I was pretty pleased about that.
Yeah, he's very patient out there, you know, and a big thing about Darlington is being patient, hitting your marks lap after lap, but every lap's it's very interesting to say the least. But you did a good job, man, and I love watching you out there, man. It's a blast. Like I said, I was a little worried about you when I seen you have to come back up through the field. You know, it's a little tricky trying to pass around this place here at Darlington. But congratulations on the win. You're second in the points, and you finished ahead of Chris Stump by quite a ways. He finished back in 9th. So you ought to gain a little bit on him in that asset, but in that aspect. But we'll see how it plays out. Still got a couple races left, man. You think you got a shot at this championship?
I don't know. We need to get bigger fields than 18 people, or 19, I think is what we had tonight.
Yeah.
It's really hard to make up points when you can just ride around and finish 10th if somebody wins, and you're still not going to gain that many points on them in the end. So if we can get some bigger fields for these last 2 races, it might be possible, but I'd say he's got the championship wrapped up for this year.
Hey, man, you led 96 laps, but what's important is you led that very last lap, man. You brought home the checkered flag tonight. Anybody want to thank?
Yeah, thank y'all for picking up where Joe left off. It's nice to be broadcasted so you can go back and watch and study and all that. And thanks to Dustin and John for keeping the league going, and Voice Attack for being our sponsor. And thanks to Brian. He's pretty fun to talk to in our race channel, so keeps me entertained for the races.
Hey, man, you better be careful out there winning all these races. They're going to put a bounty on you out there.
Yeah, that's been tried before, but they've not been successful yet, so
hey, man,
I'll just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, man. I enjoy it, man. And, can't take nothing away from you,
That's right.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you, man. And, hey, good luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bud. That was Calvin Allison, man. Very humble, classy guy. And, I'm sure if you know him, he can give you a little information if he's willing to share it, because this guy holds a lot of secrets to what's going on out there. What do you think, Dustin?
Yeah, man. I mean, this guy's got 9 starts, 6 wins on the season out of 9 starts, and man, that's a pretty big feat when it comes to this kind of, this type of field, this competition they got here in USRL. And
hey, man, I enjoyed it tonight. Hopefully everybody else did. I thought it was an exciting race. It's always exciting watching these guys around Darlington, and like we were saying earlier, if you're interested in running some asphalt, I know I got a lot of dirt fans out there. They probably didn't tune in. Yeah, but if you did and you're thinking about running some asphalt, check out the USRL guys. They only got 2 races left. So here in about 3 or 4 weeks, they're going to be starting this new season. So if you're interested, check them out. And if you need some help, hey, give me a holler. I get you the hookup, man. And thanks to everybody out there watching. We really appreciate it over here at Sim Race TV. And we wouldn't be nothing without you guys, so appreciate that. Thank you, Dustin, for having for coming up here in the booth with me. It's definitely a pleasure being able to pick your brain during these races, and I try to get you to tell all your secrets.
Yeah, that's a new experience for me, but I ain't got many secrets left. So I kind of gave them all out. Maybe that's the problem, but man, it's been a lot of fun the last 2 weeks, and I hope I can be here next season for USRL.
Alright, that's going to do it for Sim Race TV. I'm Jay Weezy with Dustin German. It's going to end it here at Darlington Raceway for the USRL 2018 Voice Attack Grand National Series. Thank you for watching, and have a great night.